David Walker, co-founder of the Firestone Walker Brewing Company, and cheers to Brew Talk TVs.
This episode of Brew Talk is brought to you by California Craft Beer Association Summit Beer Festival 2016, happening September 10th from 3 to 7 p.m. outside on Capitol Mall. Unlimited tastings of 400 plus beers brewed by 150 plus California craft breweries. Use Brew Talk TV10 code and get $10 off the beer festival. Nicholas Givanio here with Brew Talk, where we always brew your curiosity. Here we are at the first ever California Craft Beer Summit, which is pretty cool, right?
Very cool.
Sacramento as a destination for beer. Give us some insight in your own words of why California, other than having, let's say, amazing beer and having almost 600 plus breweries, is such a destination for beer.
You know, worldwide, the California brand is sort of enchanting to everybody. You know, I'm a foreigner, as you know, and California's always been that sort of mysterious place, whether it was the entertainment business or surfing or wine, the weather. And I think the California brand, in inverted commas, is something everybody is sort of attracted to. So that's a real layup for anybody, certainly any artisanal community like us trying to make a name for themselves. Add to that the fact there's craft. You know, the craft beer revolution was absolutely started in California. I mean, it was carried on.
Out of his mouth, guys.
It was carried.
I didn't say it, he said
it. And it wasn't me either. It was people 20, 30 years ahead of us. And you know, obviously it was carried on in Colorado and the Pacific Northwest, and it sort of moved. But in some ways, it was I think it was obviously it was a big West Coast phenomenon. But you know, California beer is a great thing.
It is a great thing. It's a very great thing. You touched upon the kind of artistic side of the craft. Give me some insight to that.
If you're going to do anything, and you're going to control it, and you're going to be independent, you're going to end up reflecting your own sort of creative energy. And so that's one of the fascinating things about the modern craft beer movement, is that each brewery's doing their own thing. They're all twisting in their own way.
It's pretty cool.
And that's what's churning all of this creativity and this tapestry of beers that we're churning out of the West Coast that are enchanting the whole world.
They are.
But that comes from the independent spirit, and you know, which is essentially, you know, one of the legs of the stool that craft brewers live on.
I love it. The Printed Image, local craft brew printing. For all your custom glassware and plasticware, visit theprintedimagechico.com. We have a little fun on our show.
All right, I like fun.
Okay, fun is good, right? Bottomless bottle. Now, if a genie popped out of a beer bottle and said, "This is the last beer that you can drink for the rest of your life," what would it be? It can't be one of your beers.
You know, it's gonna be really boring. It's
really boring?
Yeah, it's an English pale ale.
English pale ale.
It goes through the Burton Union. It's made up in Burton-upon-Trent by a brewery called Marston's. It's a beer called Pedigree, and it's the beer that comes out of the tap, not out of the bottle.
Not out of the bottle.
And
all right,
I'm not sure whether that qualifies.
No, hey, that's just straight out of the guy's mouth right here, guys. Straight out of the brewer's mouth. API Brew Tours. So many beers, so little time. Book a custom brew tour or hop on one of the beer shuttles today. For all the information, go to apibrewtours.com. Brew Talk beer moments. And do you remember, shed light or a cool story about your first beer?
My first beer?
Your first beer?
God, my first beer.
Right?
My first beer was. I grew up in the southwest of England, in a county called Devon, and there was a whole bunch of beers. Bishop's Tipple was one of them. That was just a beautiful, beautiful beer. We used to drink in a little pub called the Muscle Inn.
The Muscle Inn.
That was built in 14th century. I'm not joking.
Man.
But I can still feel the warmth on my cheeks, actually, as I got through 2 pints of Bishop's Tipple. That was a bloody lifetime ago.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing. That's a good story. That's very nice. Coming from a different country. And then now you're in California. You started being in California. Talk about some of those differences and the similarities of that inspired you to do what you're doing today.
Well, you know, there's huge differences between California and the rest of the world. You know, the thing I love about California, but also I love about the whole sort of culture in the U.S. It's a completely open book. I always used to say, you know, Europe's a great place as long as you're not caught trying. And whereas California, it's just sort of like, what's next?
What's next? Let's do it.
And
think it and do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Think it up and go for it.
So,
okay.
It's very happy to be here.
Thank you so much for coming
and to
on.
be allowed to be here.
And be allowed to be here, right? Absolutely. Pretty awesome out there, huh?
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, no, this is our community. The whole idea is getting everybody together and keeping the band playing.
Keeping the momentum going for amazing California craft beer.
Yeah.
David.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
I appreciate it.
David Walker, Firestone Walker Brewing Company, and I love California beer.
Stakes are high and the family's low. She's a long shot, the pain it goes. You take a chance, you may never know. You may strike out, you may strike.
On the next episode of Brew Talk, join me on this Brew Talk adventure, brewing curiosity, as we harvested whole cone hops in Shingle Springs, California with New Helvetia Brewing. Hops, hops, and more hops. We joined founder Dave Gohl in his historic building, sharing some laughs and having some Brew Talk fun in this labor-intensive day. Brewing these fresh hops with Brewmaster Brian to wet hop their award-winning 916 Pale Ale. With a full wall of big beer awards, you take a sip and easily understand why. With their inspiration from Buffalo Beer Company, we became mad scientists for the day. Brewing a unique way, staying true to the ancient heritage of brewing, using New Helvetia's own individual flair. You do not want to miss this episode. So make sure to tune in with a pint for the next episode of Brew Talk. Until then, cheers.